today to talk to you about the value of a creative safe zone. They told me each good talk starts with a question, so here's mine. When you were a kid, what is it that you wanted to do once you were grown up? Right? What is it that you want to do today when you're grown up, finally? Are you doing as a profession what you really love to do? Or do you have an interest that turned into a hobby, that turned into a passion, but that didn't turn into a profession? Maybe, maybe not. I studied architecture, and I was already pretty sure when I studied architecture many moons ago, when the animals still spoke, that I wasn't going to be an architect. However, this was the career that I expected to have with studying architecture. This is the career that others expected me to have. In reality, this is the career I ended up having until today. So I started as an architect, I worked as an art director, I became a visual artist, I taught, did some conception, and recently I was appointed a creative director. And I'm pretty sure in the next couple of years I'll make another few discipline switches. So I learned that all these creative disciplines, they're not really as boxed up as everyone says they are. In fact, with a little bit of hard work and some effort, you can puzzle them together however they suit you. I know that's easy said, because every time I tell my story to people, they say, Stijn, how did you do this? And actually, I have a passion that I do in my free time that I would love to do. I'm an architect, but I'm really interested in fashion. How do I get into fashion? And honestly, I tell people that, as all of you, I just work really hard and I never had a master plan. I really didn't. But after being invited for this talk here, I actually started thinking about this. And I came up with this concept of the safe zone. I'm going to tell you today 5 steps of how to use this safe zone thing to hopefully switch disciplines and turn your passion into a profession. It's not 100% foolproof. It's not made for success, but it worked for me, and I'm hoping to tell you in hopes that maybe it helps you. The first step is really obvious. Establish your safe zone, of course. This is you. This is me, or any of you. We're a dot. And the safe zone, that's the thing you do at home to process your emotions when you had a really bad day. We all have had them, right? The boss was annoying, the client was annoying, the meeting ran late, the meeting wasn't good, and then you argued with your partner at home just to top it off. Well, when you then do that one thing you love to do just to kind of cool down and, go through all of that, or when you had a really nice day and you're really proud of yourself and you want to do something to reward yourself, that's the safe zone. So that's you in your safe zone. And in your safe zone, you do the things for you. You're just for yourself. And any exterior influence, that's the moment where you say, stop, I don't have time for this right now. I'm just doing this for me right now. This doesn't mean that you're egoistic or something. It can just be 15 minutes a day. Some people do sports, other people draw like I did. The safe zone is where you do X, that one thing, because you love it. You do X because it gives you satisfaction. And you do X because you don't know how to not do it. It's just part of you to do it. That's really easy said than done. Some people here probably think, Stijn, I love to sit on the couch after a bad day and just watch movies. Well, that's okay. Maybe you should write reviews for movies, because you've probably seen many, many more than I did. But for the point of this talk, I brought 2 examples. The one on the left, that's my personal example. When I was working as an architect, I actually really wanted to be an artist, like a visual artist, showing my work in galleries. So any free time I had, I would actually draw. I would make drawings. No client, no budget, no timeline, just for me. And the other example is a hypothetical example, because not everyone is into art, and a lot of people can relate to food. So let's say this is a person who has an office job or works at a construction site, but their real passion is cooking. And their favorite thing to cook is a lasagna. Why? Everyone knows lasagna, and a lasagna, most importantly, is really easy for me to draw. And that's why it's here. It's just a bunch of paper on a plate, really. So the second step, after you establish your safe zone, of moving closer to your dream is to produce. Because people who tell me that they have a great dream, but they actually don't do anything to get closer to that dream, it doesn't work that way. In your safe zone, you have to put in the effort and produce. You have to start cooking, you have to start drawing. And the more time you put into your safe zone, you'll notice that your skill and your identity will go up. Skill, you'll get better at drawing, you'll get better at cooking lasagna. and your identity will develop. You will make your lasagna, not just any lasagna, the more time you put in. And by producing in your safe zone, what you're actually doing is you're filling up your safe. Yes, pun intended. You're gathering experience, you're gathering knowledge for you to actually not only grow your skill and identity, but grow your confidence. You're starting to get better at this, and every time you walk around, you have your safe, your experience with you as like a kind of a backpack. But it's not really heavy, it's the opposite result. It's like a bunch of balloons tied to you. It makes you stand up straight and think, well, I'm not great at sports, but I'm good at cooking lasagna. And anytime someone asks you, oh no, the oven broke and the food doesn't work, can someone quickly cook something? Because of those balloons, because of your experience in your safe, you'll say, yes, I can cook a lasagna right here, right now. And this brings me to the next step, export. If you found that one thing that you love to do and that brings you down after a hard day, that's already great. Some people spend their whole life looking for that one thing, or they find it and it changes as they develop as human beings. So if you do cook lasagnas and you do it for you, that's more than enough. I'm happy for you. But being in the safe zone, it's just you in there. It can sometimes be lonely. That's why it's nice to actually share what you're doing with other people. And what you're actually doing is you have your safe full of your experience with your 300 lasagnas in there. You're actually putting a window just in there. And you're letting people look inside and say, this is what I do. I cook lasagnas. I make drawings. You're showing them in a small way, not in a big way. You're not saying, one day I'll have a 4 Michelin star restaurant and everyone will see what a great cook I am. Forget about it. I also didn't have the goal of being a world famous artist. It's not possible. Why? It's too big. People are overwhelmed by their own goals. To go back to that example, one architect would tell me, I'm into fashion and I would love to be a super crazy fashion designer, but I don't know where to start. And the goal is so big that they're overwhelmed by it. Here I would like to warn you for social media. Social media is great. You can get lots of inspiration from that, but watch out. A lot of people show their success stories, but they show the end of the success story. They show their great restaurant, but they don't show you the 10 years they took to actually get to that point. So even if you don't realize it, this can actually be very demotivating. So between you and me, just put the phone away for a minute and think about the smallest possible steps that you can take to get to that big boulder, to the big goal. You probably say, Stijn, oh, you're such a genius. I could have thought about it myself. I know. But are you really taking those small steps? Are you really doing it? My small steps, I checked my safe after I literally had hard disks and big folders full of drawings. I checked it. I took the drawings that I liked the most. I finalized them. I put them together in small booklets. And I threw them in all the mailboxes of every art gallery in a circle of 20 kilometers of where I lived. And a lot of them replied. They all said, Mr. Jonckheere, please don't throw your trash in our gallery. We all have to throw this away. We don't want to spend money sending it back to you, please. But one gallery was crazy enough to take me. And I'm super proud to say, or I'm super happy to say, that until this day I had many successful shows at that gallery. And let's say the lasagna version of this would be that actually you invite some friends over to your place and say, I cook a great lasagna, would you like to taste it? Then people like it, and then one person says, oh, that's a great lasagna. Next week, the school of my children is having a party for all parents. Maybe you'd like to cook a lasagna for all the parents. And then you have 50 people tasting it. And one person there says, well, next week, I have a birthday party of my husband or my wife. And there will be 100 people. Would you like to do catering? Maybe bring over your lasagna. And before you know it, you have that next step towards showing people what you're actually doing. Now, mind you, having as an architect your drawings in a gallery, or when you're working on a construction site and having people eating your lasagna at a birthday party, that's really cool. And again, if that's where you stop, I congratulate you. That's super cool, right? But this talk is about turning it into a profession, going one step further. So my next step is apply. And this is where the dreamers get separated from the doers. This is a hard step. I've struggled with this step for a long time. This is you in your safe zone. And when you're confident in what you're doing, if it's cooking or fashion or drawing or whatever you want to do, cycling, sports, who knows, you'll notice that the world is full of opportunities out there. Only when you're confident enough, you'll be able to see those opportunities, because otherwise you're in your safe zone at home trying to focus on, processing your emotions, your day, and getting better. Now it's about taking that safe zone and applying it to one of those opportunities. Notice that I made the arrow go to one of the small dots. Again, take small steps, enjoy it. Now before I move on, I need to warn you, if you want to take these steps, you'll have to make sacrifices. You'll have to invest money. I bought better printers and drawing gear. You'll have to invest time. Cooking lasagnas takes time. And you'll probably have to sacrifice some relationships too. I'm not telling you to throw away your friends, but you'll probably see them a little bit less. At least for me, this meant I didn't party. I spent my time at home, at my table, drawing. Now don't worry about that. Real friends don't say, stop the drawing, man, come party with us. No. Real friends tell you, hey, I know you like to cook. I actually saw around the corner this restaurant is looking for a new chef. Maybe you should go and talk to them. Wouldn't this be something for you, actually? So let's say you go there and with your balloons attached, you do a test lasagna for the restaurant and you get the job. You're not a chef or you're a sous chef, you're just helping out in the kitchen. You have your day job and you have your safe zone where you're experimenting. If you stay at it, maybe at one point, the chef, the head chef will say, I know you cook a good lasagna, maybe we should put it on the menu next week. My version of this is, after I had a few gallery shows as an artist, I wanted to do this professionally. So I applied to be an illustrator at an advertising firm. Again, one firm was crazy enough to take me. An architect with no experience except a few art shows. They took me, I worked really hard, and my boss at a certain point said, man, I really like your artist work. I really like your style. Maybe instead of hiring a freelance illustrator, you should illustrate this for this client. And I did, and suddenly my artwork was now for a big brand on advertising campaigns, and that was crazy to me. And this was a really big step because the safe zone suddenly became the day job. And you all now think, yes, great success. However, see how that arrow ends? It flattens out. Because everyone here knows that the routine of a day job will turn any passion into a routine. That's how it is. It's just the nature of life, I guess, of professional life, I guess. So it's really important to protect your safe zone. Now, let me put it that way. Every chef that has mastered the art of lasagna, they're not sitting back and saying, lasagna king or queen. No, they're actually already experimenting at home with the best dessert. They're protecting that safe zone and they keep experimenting. Because if you cook lasagnas all day and you had a bad day cooking lasagnas, you're not going to cook lasagnas at home. You're going to do something else, right? So remember, you can be a great construction site worker, you can be great at your office job, you can also have a great lasagna skill, and you can be great at desserts. Architect, art director, illustrator, creative director, whatever. You have multiple stories inside you. Just remember, when everyone is going to a restaurant to pay for your lasagna, don't do it for that. Don't do it for the reward. Do it, remember, because you love it, because you don't know how to not do it at home. Now, the next step, collaborate, that's the last step. That's a tough one. That one is like super far ahead in the future. Because I can imagine that some people here in the audience, you actually managed all the previous steps already. Maybe you are really successful at your profession, which is actually your hobby, which is your passion, and so on. So this step is for people who already made that jump and actually have a successful restaurant with really great lasagna on the menu card. That's you, and suddenly this happens. You ready? Someone's in my safe zone. Well, you're cooking lasagnas, but at a certain point, you won't be able to do it on your own anymore. You'll need your own kitchen staff to actually help you out with that. Now, if you ask those people in your staff to just cook a lasagna, trust me, you're not gonna like it. Me in my position, I'm so honored and lucky to lead a team of very talented creatives. And there's nothing that makes me more happy to see them successful. That sounds like a lie, but it really isn't, because when they are successful, I'm successful. So in your kitchen team, when you ask these people, don't ask them to cook a lasagna. Ask them, if you could cook anything in the world, what would it be? And let's say that person says, well, chef, I always cook this special green sauce I do with these special herbs from the town where I come and my grandmother used to make and so on. You've established kind of a safe zone with them. You know what they do in their safe zone. And then you ask them, cook me anything you can with your special sauce. Yeah? Produce, go for it. And then hopefully, when you tell them, bring it to me, let me taste it, let me see it, they will export it and they will show it to you. And when there's some dishes that you both like and you think, oh, this green sauce, there's actually something in there, that's actually quite good, you ask them to apply it. If you would now cook a lasagna with your green sauce, what would that lasagna look like? What would it be? And then when they make that lasagna, only the way that they can do it, and it comes onto the menu and it turns out to be great, you have established a relationship with that person, which is, it heightens their chances for them to be successful, and they will not only listen to you because they have to, it's their job, they always listen to the boss, right? It's their responsibility, but they will actually appreciate you as a leader, and that is your success as a leader. And then you have created a bond with that person because they know that you understand who they are as a cook, and not just cooking any lasagna. I do the same thing with my students when I teach in architecture school. I don't ask them to design a building because it needs to be this big and this program. I ask them, who are you as an architectural designer? And then I ask them to apply it to the assignment. It's also a nice overview of the 5 steps, by the way. So, those are my 5 steps, but I didn't make good on my promise yet. I told you I was going to tell you the value of a creative safe zone. What's the point in doing all of this, right? So I noticed my safe zone used to be a room. I mean, my whole flat used to be one room, but today at least, my safe zone used to be a room where I would sit down at my computer and start drawing. As I moved on, as I grew more confident in what I did, my safe zone was my sketchbook. I would sit on a train, in a car, whatever, and I would just draw sketches and be able to zone out and be for me and calm down. And today I've noticed that my safe zone, I've become so routined with this whole concept and this idea. If I sit in a meeting somewhere and I'm a bit overwhelmed, I don't know what to do in the meeting, I can just look at the ceiling a bit. And in my mind, I go into my safe zone and I think, if I would have to solve this solution, but there would be no deadline, no client, no budget, and I would have to just solve it for me, how would I do that? And from this kind of gut feeling, I would then try and solve on the spot the solution, or at least give my opinion in hopes of reaching a solution in the meeting. So, the benefits are inwards, external, and outwards. Sorry. I'm processing my emotions. I still do that. If I have a bad day or a good day, I draw, just for me. By doing what I love, even though it changes sometimes. Sometimes I like to do a sculpture, not draw. I'm gaining confidence. This goes internally and externally. I never thought I was very attractive. I wasn't really great at sports. But since I realized that I can draw a little bit, I actually felt better about myself. I'm raising my skills, and I'm moving closer to my goals just by having this safe zone thing. In a nutshell, you'll never know when you're great or finished. Remember this first chart with all the arrows? There is no finish line, forget about it. Don't be afraid to start multiple stories. Again, you're not running towards a goal, so you can run all directions, right? Prepare to make sacrifices. I hate these talks that tell you to just go out and do it. No, it's gonna be really hard, by the way. Take small steps and enjoy them. Really, I didn't enjoy my steps too much. I was so focused on getting my artwork in a gallery that I didn't enjoy making the booklet. So today I try to do that differently. I try to enjoy every small step. Do it for you. Do what you love. And the most important one to me, if you're doubting, the thing you love is the thing to do. Trust your gut. Find that safe zone. It sounds so easy, but if you think about it, everyone has it. Start from there out, and the rest will follow. Thank you so much.